Gerald Celente. Joining us now is the top trends forecaster in the world, Gerald Celente. Gerald, it's been such a crazy time. We have the inflation soaring. We have the markets going crazy. We had the big downdraft, obviously, in the global markets, and then this recovery here in the U.S. that seems to be a dead cat type of bear market bounce. It may get more violent on the upside and then go ultimately much lower. But what are you seeing out there that has you taking note as you look at the top trends in the world going forward?
Well, the first, of course, you mentioned it, inflation. And let's go back to last April. We heard our U.S. Treasury Secretary, Janet Yellen, saying that inflation wasn't real. It was only temporary. And that the Fed had tools to deal with it. Those are basically what she said. And then we go back over a year and a half ago, and we have the Fed head Powell, Jerome Powell, saying that it was temporary inflation and transitory. What they're doing is they knew that inflation was real. And it's the same thing in the EU. The European Union hasn't raised its interest rate out of negative territory now for 8 or 10 years? And they make up the phony line that a 2% inflation is cause for them to raise rates. So it was the same thing in the United States. They made up this phony 2% inflation rate, but they haven't, whether they've raised rates now in the United States, let's see, was it between 0.75 to 0.1%, the Fed rate, when you have inflation running at 8.3%? And according to the IMF, when they loan you money, you got to raise your interest rate to 1% above inflation. So here we have, again, our interest rate is 0.75 to 1%. So what they're doing is they know when they raise rates, this whole thing is going to collapse. The whole markets are artificially propped up with all of that cheap money when the COVID war broke out in 2020. Trillions and trillions of dollars in the United States and all over the world. And now what concerns me again is the Ukraine war. And we've been saying since the start, we're totally opposed to it. We totally understand why it happened. And that it's ridiculous that the United States is sending, at this point now, over $50 billion, and much of that money going to lethal weapons to keep the bloody fields, the killing fields bloody. And we're forecasting, we have since the beginning, that if Napoleon left Poland in 1812 with over 420,000 troops to attack Moscow and came back with 10,000, and if Hitler in World War II, Operation Barbarossa, killed over 25 million Russians, and they were the first to defeat the Germans in Eastern Europe, what makes anybody think that Ukraine is going to win this war? But the damage that's been done, not only to Ukraine, the people, but again, we're looking at the wheat prices hitting all-time high, barley, sunflower oil, on and on and on. Because of the I forgot. It's not really that important, but a thing called gas and oil prices. Yeah, Brent crude's back up now almost to $120 a barrel. You're looking at gas prices spiking, natural gas spike. Again, then we have all this lockdown, the cutting off the supplies from Russia, and it's destroying the world. So, this is pure insanity in front of us. So that the markets are up anything, the game is rigged.
Gerald, let me ask you this. We had the savings rate come out, and the savings rate for people in the United States plunged all the way to 4.4%. That had been at all-time record highs, as you know, from the COVID payouts. That money is gone and then some. And they're saying that the consumer is still spending, but it seems like they're running out of money rapidly.
Yeah, again, they're showing you. They made a big deal this week when Dollar General and Dollar Tree sales went up. But last week, who went down? Target, Walmart, Costco, one after another. And again, think about it. Dollar Tree and Dollar General sales are going up. Oh, isn't that great? You ever go into one of them places? Do you want to see a really morbid, terrible scene? This is what shopping has declined into. A dollar store, and they're not a dollar anymore. You know, I think it starts at $1.25 in some of them now. So that shows you the level of the purchases. Oh, then I forgot. Then there's this place called China with 1.4 billion people that, you know, the Gucci's and the Starbucks and all of everybody used to love to go there because they're making all that dough. And now they've been on lockdown for, 2 months in the major cities? Oh, and the people can't travel out of the country. That's great for the tourism business. No, this is global what's going on. And again, you know, you don't have to, you look at the facts. Here, this is a headline from the Wall Street Journal this past week. Ukraine war fuels triple crisis in poor nations. In poor nations, it's going to be a crisis everywhere. And again, they're calling this stagflation. That means a stagnant economy and rising inflation. It's dragflation.